Don, it's a pleasure to chat with you as the EVP of the Oakland Ballers. I didn't know your official title. I just know you do a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, it's a lot longer than I'm used to. Bench coach for a lot of years was much easier.
Well, you've got a front office title now, and your franchise is hosting Open Tryouts. I mean, anybody is welcome. This is awesome. This is a cool thing to talk about. But what would a serious candidate look like for the Oakland Ballers?
Well, I think you got to go back to why we're doing it in the first place. And when I started, my first initial meeting with Brian and Paul was down in LA, and they started pitching this whole idea about putting a new team in Oakland. And during that dialogue, we talked a lot about how we can make an impact in the community and what are some of the important things that we stood for. And obviously, keeping a team in Oakland was top priority. Second was, can we fill the team with homegrown talent? And one of the biggest draws that kind of interests me was the fact that I grew up in the Bay Area. I had that opportunity, and can we give other players an opportunity to do that? And it's difficult for some players to be seen, whether it's injuries along the way or maturing at a different stage. And so we talked about doing open tryouts, and now they're coming to reality, and we get a chance to let players showcase their talents. We have a couple spots left on our roster that we purposely left open.
Okay.
I think it's important for the fan base, the neighborhood, so to speak, to have homegrown talent there. I think it's. I grew up watching the Oakland A's, and hopefully, these are players that grew up, in sports in the Bay Area and want to be a part of a new franchise. And so, we don't know what we're going to get out there, and that's the exciting part of it. It's open to anybody that wants to register and come on out, and we'll have our coaching staff there evaluating players and trying to fill some of the needs on the team.
Could it also be that even if nobody gets signed or attached instantly, that you're just connecting, you're keeping names and phone numbers, you're making that connection, and maybe future consideration down the road? You never know what you might need, when you might need it, or what might present itself.
Yeah, I think the timing of this, we jumped in a little bit late.
Yeah.
So we probably missed some of the homegrown talent that's already signed with other teams, but I think we got a foothold on that going into next year, and we plan on having these open tryouts annually where we can get some players from the Bay Area. So no, I think it's a big part of who we are, what we stand for, and building with homegrown talent.
I feel like I get an email every day, and I have been for the last month, from the Ballers about another player that they've signed. The process has been, I don't want to say slow and steady, but consistent, right, for some time now as you build your roster. How has that gone, by the way, in starting a team from scratch, but having to procure players from a lot of different places?
Yeah, from a background standpoint, I spent most of the time my career in the Major League dugout getting players handed to me, and then I did scout 1 year for the New York Yankees, which was enlightening and enjoyed that. And so this is a whole new realm for me, and talking to players on the phone all across the country, watching 30 seconds of video, but more importantly, being able to talk to them on the phone and kind of interview them a little bit's a new experience for me, but I really enjoy it, and I think. We've done a nice job, I believe, and purposely we haven't filled all those spots. One, for the open roster, but two, just the demographics of Major League Baseball right now. Where you're looking at them cutting down to 165 players, in spring training. So there's going to be some players that are going to get released. We have some restrictions on our league where a player can't have more than 3 years professional experience. So it is a developmental league, but. The draft being cut down. I think these are all positives for leagues like the Pioneer League to attract players or give players an opportunity that might not have an opportunity to go on and play.
When you get this team together for the very first time, you talk to them on the phone, right? To this point, you've had no face-to-face interaction with most everybody or everybody all at once, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing a lot of things via Zoom.
Yeah.
Micah Franklin, our manager, has done a phenomenal job of having chat lines out there that we're starting to feed them information and talk about what we stand for. I spent 25, 30 minutes with Ian Jenkins, one of our star players today, just talking about mental hitting. We purposely got a major league staff together. I think it's a little bit different. The Pioneer League, we play 96 games. but you don't have the luxury of an affiliate baseball program where you have them 3 or 4 or 5 years to develop them. So we brought in guys like JT Snow and Aaron Miles to be able. Both those guys had won a World Series. Both of them had extensive major league careers. So I think we focus a lot on the mental side to say, okay, this is what it's like. This is what it takes to play in the big leagues. And I'm real excited about the coaching staff to be able to have an impact on these players.
That is going to be pretty special, though, when you get to see your team for the first time, like all together in the same place. You've been building and working on this for so long, but you really haven't got to enjoy that part of it yet, right?
Well, some of it, I spent a lot of my time coordinating spring training, for the major league clubs. And so we're going to do a dual spring training with the Yolo County Yolo High Wheelers up in Davis, which will give us an opportunity to play them a couple games prior to spring training. It'll be a short spring training. Minor league spring training is at least a couple of weeks. We got about 6 days to get these guys ready. But that's right in my kind of my wheelhouse where I like doing that coordinate. And so I'll be involved in that. And then we'll be able to really, in a short period of time, try to evaluate what we signed. And these guys have to come in ready to play, ready to be pitched, go 5 innings as a starter. So there's some demands on these guys, but I'm excited to get them together for the first time.
You had a variety of roles at the highest level of baseball, obviously the major leagues, for so long. Why did you choose an opportunity like this?
Well, I spent the last 2 years putting in a vineyard, so farming is a little harder than I thought. But no, I think, like I said, I didn't know if I was real fortunate to have a long career and be around some of the best in the game, and that was an unbelievable experience. And then I left for a couple of years, and when Paul and Brian, our ownership group, called me, I didn't think much of it. I didn't even think I was going to take the job. And after spending time with them, I just love the thought of putting a new franchise into Oakland and giving people and seeing how many different ways we can make an impact. I think Oakland needs some revitalization right now. We're doing that with the new stadium we're trying to build. We're doing it with internships. We're doing it with local talent. We're trying to check off all the boxes to be successful. And we've had nothing but phenomenal fan support so far. So we're excited.
What kind of grapes are you growing, and where can I get some of this wine?
Pinot Gris and Gruner Veltliner, which is an Austrian grape. So it's a small boutique farm, and it's a long story. I have a nonprofit that we do agricultural technology for youth kids, and it's fun. It's fun. Keeps me busy too.
I couldn't help myself from going there. Raimondi Park. I mean, it's so special that this franchise is going to start from scratch, and you'll never have to play in a temporary home. And Laney College would have been fine. Appreciate their efforts in even offering that and being part of it. But you got to be pretty excited about what will happen in this first season.
Yeah, I think the best way that things come about is organic, and that's kind of the word I use with this. We thought about and planned on playing in Laney, but Raimondi came available, and it's an area where, again, we can make a huge impact, just not on the baseball side, but the community side. It's a really good location. It needs a lot of work, don't get me wrong, but that's the exciting part of it. There's warehouses around there. There's potential retail. I think it's a great revitalization project for the city of Oakland. And I spend a majority of my time talking to different people right now how we're going to get this done in a short period of time, and ask the fans to be a little bit patient. But we're going to do it, and we're going to make it a special place and a place that people will enjoy watching a game.
2 more things, and obviously the Ballers even exist in part because of what the A's are trying to do and relocate to Las Vegas. How much do you, and I know you're a busy guy these days, how much do you still pay attention to their process, what's going on with them? And as somebody who was around Major League Baseball for so long, do you have any feelings or opinions on how that's shaken out right now?
Yeah, I mean, more on a personal level. I got a lot of friends in Oakland A's organizations from when I was coaching there, and I think mine's more on a personal level because of the stadium. I saw my first game there when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, and so played my high school football championship game there and coached there and managed there, as a visiting manager. So it's more on a personal level. I just, it's a sad thing that you can't be able to maintain that in Oakland. And that's where, an opportunity opened up for us. And we're not competing at the same level, but I think we can bring a product there that fans will be proud of.
So as you have these open tryouts, and as a Hayward guy, I'm sure any farmers that are out there, they'll get partial treatment. They'll be
Go to the front of the line, yeah.
they'll be platformed a little bit. But what advice would you give to anybody who might be part of coming out there and trying out? What specifically are you looking for? What could a player do to put themselves in a good light?
Yeah, I tell the story a lot. I ran minor league systems. I did it for the Anaheim Angels, and at that time we had almost 200 players. And I think the important thing is we at any given time we might have had 5 players that you could walk out there and say these guys just really love playing the game. The other ones are trying to make a team. They're trying not to fail. We're asking players to come out, have fun, show us what you got, show us the love that you have for the game. And I think that'll take care of itself. The rest, talent's going to take you so far. The rest is going to be, we look at all different things, their personality, are there adders to the team, certain different roles. I mean, there's so many specialized roles in baseball now. You never know. We're, knuckleball pitchers, we're opening it to everybody. And I think that's what's going to be fun for me, to be able to see people out there having fun.
Don, it's a pleasure to talk to you. The Ballers are lucky to have you, and obviously wishing you the best of luck this season.
Appreciate you having me on. All right, buddy.